Perhaps one of the biggest issues when creating drawings on a computer is making sure they turn out the way you want them to on paper. That is where good layer management and layer use comes in. The purpose of layers is to organize the data in your file so that you can work with it, and so that it has a correct visual display on paper, not just the screen. Because who cares ultimately what it looks like on the screen? That's not what you're giving your client. You're giving your client the drawings. Yeah, okay, sometimes a CAD file goes along with it, but the drawing is where you make your money, so it needs to be correct. Layers control how an object looks, but you can override a layer settings on any object by assigning that object a color, line type, line weight, transparency, etc. Well, don't do this. I would love to tell you to never, ever, ever do this, but there will be a rare occasion when it's appropriate. But they're extremely rare. The 3 keys to good object visual display management in AutoCAD are 1, by layer, number 2, by layer, and number 3, by layer. Every object can be either assigned its properties individually or it can be assigned by layer. The 3 main display properties an object can have or set to are color, line weight, and line type. Each layer can have all of these properties set as well. And transparency is another one if you use that. It's a good practice to keep all of your objects set to by layer. That allows you to control them in your viewports. Viewports are windows in paper space that look at model space. We've kind of looked at this already, but I want to go over it one more time. In this file, go to the paper space tab named Layout 1, and I'm in the Architectural Example Imperial Drawing file. Open up the Layer Manager, type L8 on the command line. That'll take you right to it. Now, if you make changes here, then the changes are made everywhere. We only want to change the objects, though, in a specific part of our drawing. We can make a detailed view of any part of our window here, of one of our doors, or a combination of a wall joint or anything. And so sometimes, though, you want to make other things faded back or to be dashed or not shown at all. And that's okay. You don't want to have to make a new file for all of that. You can do that right here. To do that, you have to edit the layers while in an activated viewport. Since these are all drawn to by layer, we can make the change here. Double-click in your viewport. Make sure it's locked. Click on the button here. If it looks like this, a yellow unlocked lock, that means you can mess things up. It means I can zoom it in, pan around, and, well, it's all messed up. Well, if you find that you've done that, just undo. Then click on the button here, unlock it again. This will keep the scale right and everything. So if I double click in here, this will be my viewport. It'll be highlighted. Everything will be constrained inside that viewport. I can still, since I've locked it, zoom in and out and pan around, and I don't affect the scale of my drawing or the view. But now I'll open up the Layer Manager. Now you're managing what's in this viewport. I have all my regular controls here, but now I have all of them once again. See, these are called, off, freeze, lock, color, line type, line weight, transparency, plot, etc. But now I have viewport freeze, viewport color, viewport line type, viewport line weight, etc. They're the exact same things, and they work the exact same way, and they're changed the exact same way as before. But only now I can change my walls in this viewport alone to, let's go with a pink color. See, they're pink here. If I double click outside the viewport, I close my Layer Manager so it's out of the way. You can see I made them pink here, and that's only in this viewport. If I go back to model space, see, there's still this ugly brown color. Now, who wants brown walls anyway? But I can do that. If I copy this viewport, it takes on the same settings as in this viewport. So if I double click inside it to activate it, open up my Layer Manager, I can scroll across here and change my walls to any other color. I don't change the line work at all. I just change the way it's set to in the layer. I'm controlling the visual display of these layers so that I can show it differently. Now, why would I want to change the color? Well, maybe I need it to print differently, in green instead of in pink. Or maybe I'm using what's called a CTB file to control my line weight and not the layer manager. And green prints out lighter and I need that to be faded back. That's another option or another reason to do it. If I unlock this and I zoom in to right here to make a detail of some sort, lock it back so that I can zoom in and pan around. Now I can work in here. Since these are different colors, I don't have to change the line work at all. I can just leave it the same and just display it in a different way. And when I go to print this out, it'll look different. And I can make more drawings from one set of line work much easier, much more quickly, and without messing up my original work.